What's up, everyone? Today I wanted to talk about some character changes I think the game is in need of. Yeah, if Deadlock wants to succeed in the future, I think these are some of the changes they need. The first change I would like to see would just be Shiv getting charges on an ultimate instead of a reset. I feel like um, the resetability of his ultimate is what allows him to be so strong at times, and I think the only way to make that like mechanic fair where he can execute multiple people would just be to give him 6 base charges at level 1, um, to allow him to execute as many people as he wants, and like you could use 6 on one person instead of only being able to use 1 at one on one person. I think that would just give him a little bit more power in his ultimate, which would be good, and it would yeah, it would fix a lot of his problems. So I would also like to see Grey Talon be a little bit better and more relevant in the meta, and I think the right way to do that would just be to give him the ability to toggle fly on and off instead of on a cooldown. I think when that's on a cooldown, he just can't use it to the best of its ability. I think he just needs full control over being able to fly whenever he wants. Yeah, so I think fly needs to be a toggle on and off, and he'll also have like the 4 arrow like rain when he's in when he's flying too. I think that would just give him a little bit more power, a little bit more survivability. And then this one might be a little bit controversial, but I think Pocket to be a little bit more lore accurate to like his rich playboy style like character, he just needs to start the game with 1,000 souls. Like I feel like he's already so weak in laning phase that this would not only be lore accurate, it would also just give him a little bit more power in laning phase. Like he can start with close quarters and maybe like a mystic burst or something like that, and like that's gonna give him a little bit more level 1 damage. I think he's lacking in that for sure, so I think that would be a good change as well. And I think you guys are gonna like this one. I think Dynamo just needs his heal on a toggle as like the same thing with Grey Talon, just on and off. No cooldown as well, where like he can just be healing all the time, just because outside of his ultimate, he doesn't really get a ton of value, and so I think that this would just give him a little bit more power into the rest of his kit, which is it's a good change, I think. I think we need to be trying to push ourselves away from characters that are just ultimate bots, and I think the only way that Dynamo's ultimate won't just be crazy, crazy good and super strong is we need to give his heal a high incentive to be used. Like you basically can, the way I envision it right now in my mind is that Dynamo can just heal. He can either heal or he can use his ultimate. So like his heal needs to be good enough where he doesn't want to use his ultimate, and so probably boost the healing a little bit. Yeah, and I think that any character that's labeled like a support should just healing booster should be like 3x the stats as well. So that's for another video. I might do a video on like item changes that need to be made too as well. So yeah, Dynamo heal needs to be toggle on and off, no cooldown. He just doesn't have as much power or as much utility as he needs because his ultimate's so good. This would also give him a ton of laning sustainability just because he has infinite HP, which would be pretty good. And then another character I want to talk about is Bbop. I think Bbop lacks a lot of pressure in lane. I feel like whenever you're laning against the Bbop, you're never scared of getting hooked. Like it's not as he's not a threat as like a Mirage would be. Mirage isn't super strong in lane either though, so that's a bad example. Maybe like an Ivy solo lane, you're gonna definitely feel some pressure on you. You're gonna feel what's the word? Pressured. It feels oppressive when you go against an Ivy in a solo lane, but like a Mirage it's not that bad. But yeah, the rework I want to see on Bbop would be just giving him charges on his ultimate, on his hook. I mean, so he default starts with 2 hooks, and then he can use extra recharge to get another one, and then a rapid recharge to get another one. So he has 4 hooks in total, and I just think that this would give him a little bit more pressure in lane, just because you're not scared to stand in front of a Bbop ever because you just know he's gonna miss the first hook, and so giving him that second hook, and it's also going to be an instant hook too. Like the way it's going to work is you're going to be able to throw out 1 hook, and then your second hook is going to be right after. So you could basically throw them like in tandem and like basically get a wider net. So I feel like that's just going to give Bbop a lot more sustainability in lane and a lot more pressure in lane, and he becomes a little bit more of a threat. Just because there's a lot of times when like I'm just not scared to get, like I just know the Bbop's not going to hook me, so like I dodged the first hook because I'm him, and then he doesn't have a second hook. So if he had a second hook, I would have gotten hooked. Yeah, I think that would be a good way to give him some more laning pressure and just give him some more early game as well. And it would also be very helpful when he's ganking. Like, imagine you hook one person on the duo lane next to you, then you hook another person, you hook both of them, and then you punch them both into the tower. I think that would just give him a lot more, what's the word? Individuality. Yeah. It would just give him some more unique stuff he can do. So, and then this one might be slightly controversial. You let me know about this one. I think Paradox Wall just needs to be a straight up reflect, and it does the any bullets that are like reflect off of it just do 2x damage. I feel like people are they shoot the wall too much, and it needs to be discouraged. Like, they shouldn't just be shooting the wall. The wall needs to be something that is like a super defensive cooldown, like, because Paradox really, I don't know. I think he's struggling in the current meta, and he definitely needs some buffs. And I think that this would be a good way. I don't know what else you could change about his kit. Maybe you could give him charge on his swap. Yeah. You could give him like 5 swaps by default, and then like rapid recharge would go up to like 8. That'd be pretty good, maybe. Let me know what you think about that. But back to the wall change. Yeah, just to give him a little bit more survivability and like defensive options. And then like, because I feel like a lot of times Paradox, like, he doesn't have enough area denial. Like, people can just like walk at him, and like, if an Abrams walks at you, you're probably gonna die on Paradox. So like, giving him that reflect, he can like, people aren't gonna shoot the wall. They're gonna be scared to get hit by their bullets. So, and like by reflect, I mean like it auto just hits them. Like, it's not even like it just hits them automatically, basically. And then another one I thought would be his kinetic carbide. If you hit a headshot, it'll ricochet to everyone nearby, and it'll stun them for a second. So it's rewarding hitting headshots, and it's giving you incentive to have good aim. So I think that's a good direction this game should go. I think that would be a good change. Yeah, and then I also think Shiv's bloodletting. I think Shiv's in a really good spot right now. Maybe even a little weak, you could say, but I think that Shiv needs a little bit more survivability. I think he has good damage. He has good mobility. He has good split pushing. He has good everything outside of survivability. And I think that a good way to give him survivability would just be to give him metal skin on his bloodletting, like just on the cooldown. Like, you press E or you press 3, and you're just gonna get metal skin. And I would also like to see the cooldown get lowered to 10 seconds, just to give him more metal skin uptime, more bloodletting, get like clearing. So I think that would give him survivability, just because he's been lacking it, and I think it's going to put him more in line with like a Dynamo or Vindicta's survivability. So let me know what you think about that one. That was a good one, I thought. I got one more. Wait. No. I got two more. So Mirage, as everyone knows, has been kind of weak recently. It's been rare you see a game where Mirage carries or Mirage does super well. So I was thinking about changing Mirage Tornado to be like a car almost. Like, you can control it. You have full capabilities to move it around and stuff. But it also lasts for 5 seconds now. And you can shoot while you're in the tornado. I forgot to mention that part too. Yeah, you can. So you imagine a car tornado, but you can shoot, and it also stacks. Every time you hit someone with the tornado, they get stunned for a second, or they get lifted for a second. I just think he lacks the ability to lock down people well, and like, he doesn't have a good catch. And I think that this would just give him the ability to really put some pressure in laning phase. I feel like he's been very weak in laning ever since he came out, which Deadlock hasn't really addressed or talked about. But I feel like this would be something that's going to give him the ability to win solo lanes, to win duo lanes with the able to stun people for like 5 seconds. So I think that would be a good change. And then lastly, just to wrap up this video, I think Vindicta has been very weak recently as well. Like, it's like Mirage. Like, it's rare you see a Vindicta carry a game. Like, that doesn't happen often. And so I think we need to buff her stake to make it a root. So like, kind of like Warden Trap, where you can't move at all. All you can do is crouch. Instead of giving because like when her stake right now isn't very good, because people can move left and right, crouch. They can do all this stuff to make it hard to hit. Yeah, and so I feel like giving her the ability to root people, and also just making her sniper just a one shot like Call of Duty. I feel like Deadlock needs to take some ideas from Call of Duty, and like, a sniper should always be a one shot in every game no matter what. So I definitely think that her stake needs to be a tether, not a tether. Her stake needs to be a stake or a root, and then her sniper should be a one shot no matter what. Like it should just be an execute. It should be like a 95% health execute. Maybe not 100%, but like maybe 95, 90%. Like you just gotta put a couple bullets in them and then they execute them. Yeah, I mean it's a sniper. Like snipers, you don't walk away from a sniper shot. So let me know what you think about in the comments about these changes. I think these are insightful. I think these are new, and I think the game is missing some of these changes. Let me know.